I'm going to get everyone checked in. I see that we have someone with iPhone as their name with the glasses and the red shirt. If you could just tell me your name and who you're representing here today.
Vanessa Anderson.
Okay. All right. Welcome, Ms. Anderson. And are you a neighboring property owner?
I live on Kinsey. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Property owner.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. I see that we have Will McKenna, which looks like the owner and applicant on this. Welcome, Mr. McKenna.
Thank you.
All right. We have Matt Lashide from the City of Cincinnati Zoning Department. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, David. Thank you.
And then I see that we also have a Kay Napier. Ms. Napier, if you could unmute for me, confirm that is your name and tell me who you're representing here today, or if you're a neighboring property owner.
I'm just have the property in the neighborhood area.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. Mr. McKenna, are you expecting anyone else to join us here today on the applicant owner side of this project?
No, I wasn't entirely sure how the process worked, but I was here to run through the application and answer any questions.
That's right. Yeah, I'm about to lay out exactly how this process is going to work today and what we'll be doing. So bear with me here. This is the August 23rd, 2023 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the City of Cincinnati, and I will preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20230131. That is 227 Kinsey Avenue. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties or neighboring property owners to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing is following the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the Zoning Hearing Examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any potential opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant's attorney or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. So in this case, Mr. McKenna, I'll start by hearing from you. I'd like to hear some background on the project, really any information you think is necessary for me to make a decision on this. And then, of course, why you think that this particular variance request is appropriate and why I should grant it. I will then turn to the public. I'll allow, if they would like, they don't have to, they're welcome to just observe, but if they would like to provide some input or some testimony, Ms. Anderson and Ms. Napier, I'll then allow them to provide that testimony to give me some additional perspective if they would like. I'll go to Matt Lashide, who has prepared a staff report in response to this application. I'll allow him to provide me testimony in addition to that staff report. I will, let's see, in the event that any party testifies or offers argument against this application, you'll then, Mr. McKenna, have an opportunity to respond to any of that testimony or argument that was offered in opposition, and then you'll have an opportunity to make any closing statements. So for our members of the public, if you do want to testify about this project, just point out that you really have one bite at the apple here. So if you'd like to be comprehensive with your testimony and your questions, that will be useful. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. If you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. If you're not certain yet whether you want to provide testimony, I can always swear you in later. But if you know now that you'd like to provide some testimony during this hearing, I'm going to go ahead and collectively swear everyone in together. So if that's you, if you could please take yourself off of mute, raise your right hand. I need everyone to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Okay. Ms. Napier, I'll need you to go off mute and respond.
I do. I mean, it's just
Okay.
for observing, basically.
Okay, great. If you'd like to add something, you can.
Thank you.
If you prefer. Okay, Mr. McKenna, any questions about the process?
Not really. Should I just give some background on the I'll keep it relatively brief
The floor is yours.
and succinct. Um, so I purchased the parcel, or it's a lot through uh, the Hamilton County Land Bank this year. And there's certain covenants that apply to that purchase. Um, and so prior to the purchase and being approved to purchase it, I went through just a meeting with the Mount Auburn, um, I guess, community council, and kind of outlined what I want to do. And they didn't seem to have any problem with it. So I guess they approved it to go through. Um, and basically, if everyone's familiar with the lot, I guess with doing some research, there had been an existing duplex on that lot for quite some time. And it was, for whatever, I don't know exactly what the reason was, but it was torn down, I believe, several years ago. Anyone who's more familiar with the neighborhood could correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that's what it shows on Google Maps and from the zoning records. So basically my plan was then to build back a duplex on the property that would have, all the it'd be a modern, would be a traditional looking house, but would have all the modern code and construction qualities to it, as well as some of the stuff that's required in zoning, such as parking and that kind of thing, which was not existing previously. So the crux of I guess the zoning issue that came up was that in the RMX, it's zoned RMX, residential mixed, and to have a duplex in that zoning district, the lot size needs to be a minimum of, I believe, 5,000 square feet. And this lot is, I believe it's just under 4,000 square feet. And that's sort of what we're discussing here today, is whether or not we can have a variance to approve that. And I'm here to say I think that it should be approved because there was an existing duplex previously. I'm adding parking to the lot, and I believe the plan that I've provided works pretty well. It would be consistent with with the block and the surrounding neighborhood, as far as there's a mix of single family homes, duplexes, triplexes. There's a couple apartment buildings nearby as well. And other than the size of the lot, that would, I believe, and Matt can, when he gives his report, he can verify that that's really the only issue with the application at this time. And sort of going into the new ordinance as part of the application I submitted was the ordinance, the city or development ordinance that outlines different property tax abatements and that kind of thing. And I guess the purpose of that is to encourage different types of development in various neighborhoods in the city. And I believe that this project would be in line with what the city is trying to encourage, in the sense that they are encouraging, new construction in the Mount Auburn neighborhood, and additional incentives for small multifamily, which often provides, additional housing units, which oftentimes end up being more affordable than units in larger apartments. And, there's a lot of great things with small multifamily because it can allow, somebody who might not be able to afford a house, if they can use the supplemental income from the other units to make it more affordable. And then whoever's renting from them often will have below market rent. So it can be a win-win situation. Also specifically in accordance with the ordinance, this property is located close to the to public transportation, the bus line. And I think that, having additional housing units close by public transportation is also something that the city is trying to encourage as well. So overall, I think it would be a good project. I think that that the neighborhood there, it's nice. I think that block on Kinsey is a really nice street. My proposed new construction is not like the design of it is pretty traditional. So I don't think it should blend in with the other houses on the street. And I think it's a good project. Like I said, there's a mix of single family homes there, duplexes, triplexes, a couple apartment buildings nearby. There's a mix of families. There's some college students, older adults as well that all live, in there. And I think that, this project would conform to that.
Mr. McKenna, let me ask you, is there going to be a total of 3 units, or I'm sorry, 2 units in this building, or 3?
This would be a 2-unit.
Okay. Is that, I see something about an accessory dwelling unit in the basement?
Yeah, so those the plan that I provided, the ADU is the same thing as that's the second unit.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so yeah, if you need any clarification, the ADU is the second unit. So
Got
it's
it.
not,
That makes sense. Okay.
yeah, and I know that there's I guess zoning coming out about ADUs. This doesn't have anything to do with that. That's just that would just be the unit number 2.
Gotcha. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else you want to share, Mr. McKenna, before we go to public comment?
I think that's it.
Okay. You'll have another opportunity to add anything if you'd like. Okay. I'll ask Ms. Anderson. Is there anything you'd like to add to the
Yes.
conversation here?
Yes. Hi, how are you all doing?
Good.
I would like to say that I would disagree with building a house over there. So the issue over here is that it's the parking. So it did used to be a house over there years ago. And, but the problem over here is that we have no place to park over here. I'm 60, about to be 64, and there's no place for us to park. So like, even if you build a house there and it's a pole, so it's a stop sign there that says you can't park beyond that sign, that would take up a parking space for us. And then the house next door to it with the green doors, it's like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like 7 or 8 students that live in there now. So I don't have I have to park on the street. And then the house next to me, once they get its finished, it may be another 8 or 9 students in there. It's nowhere to park over here. So when we leave at night, when we leave and go somewhere, we got to get back home in time so we can get a parking space, or I may be parked up the street. I have to carry my groceries from up there. It's not, it's just not safe, really. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and it's public parking. So, first come, first serve, you can park anywhere that you want to park. But we need parking over here. And even if he builds a house there and he has a driveway and, more people move in there, I don't know. It's like they rent rooms. It's like rooms and students, and which, I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. But my issue is over here is we have no place to park. So if you leave home and you come back, it's just nowhere to park. You got students that, what I'm saying, and they got friends and other people. It is really, really bad over here. So if they built a house there, the people that lived there years ago, they only had like one car. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's different now. You know what I'm saying? It's different over here. And it's just no place to park. I can't afford to build a driveway, which I have to save. I don't know if the city offers any type of when I had talked to Mr. Matt, I had called and I was like, I know the city don't probably offer nothing for parking. And it's just bad. So it's gonna be really no place to park. I don't know what we're gonna do because it's about 8 students over there now, and you can park anywhere you want to. It's a public parking, but I don't want to have to carry my grocery from up the street or around the corner. I don't know. And we need those spaces over there now. It's a stop sign. It's a pole there. And in front of that pole is a stop sign. So that pole leaves, then that's gonna be like 2 spaces gone. It's terrible over here. So then next door, when they open theirs up, I don't know how many people may move in there. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're older and, we've been around here a long time and there's 3 driveways on the street, but, they belong to people. It's no place to park. And I guess back in the day, they just didn't build driveways. That's my only issue over here is the parking. I don't want to come home late. I come home late now, try to get back home before so I can make sure I get a place to park. But I don't know. That's not only concern over here in Mount Auburn. It's nice over here. It's a nice neighborhood and everything, but the parking is horrible. I don't know why the city couldn't take that lot and build us some type of parking, and maybe we can pay for it or pay a decal or pay a month, and you can have some place to park when you come home, and at least we will be safe. And I don't want to have to walk from. I don't know where I'm gonna park. I don't know really. Once now it's like gotta find a place to park. So that's my only concern.
Gotcha.
So thanks for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for perspective. And it really helps
Yes,
me
sir.
understand when I can hear from neighboring property owners. So thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
testifying.
Thank you all.
Sure. Ms. Napier, did you want to add anything? Or are you going to just observe here today?
I'm just observing. So my house is a block away from this property. So, I pass it by, see right now it's just basically it's just empty lot. But I just have no comment. Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ms. Napier. All right, Mr. Lashad, did you want to provide some testimony?
Sure. So as Mr. McKenna already outlined, the lot is vacant right now. There was a duplex there until around 2018, 2019. It was demolished. The building that he's proposing to construct looks very similar to the building that was previously there, except with the modern amenities, and does provide off-street parking. He's offered 2 paved parking spaces as required by the zoning code. The density relief that's being requested here, as outlined, the zoning code requires a minimum lot size of 5,000 square feet for a 2-unit residential structure in this district. Not sure where that 5,000 square foot metric came from, to be honest, but it's a difficult one to meet in dense urban areas. This street has 14 properties on it that are all under 5,000 square feet, and 7 of those 14 are already duplexes. So I would argue that it's a substantial property right enjoyed by others in the neighborhood to have a 2-unit building on this block. I don't anticipate any adverse impacts. It would actually probably help neighborhood businesses and transit to have more people living there. We talked about parking a little bit. The proposed site plan provides 2 parking spaces, so we'd be adding parking in the neighborhood, albeit just for this property owner. The driveway goes in between a stop sign and a no parking anytime sign, so it's not taking away any permitted on-street parking. Generally, I think it's a project that, as Mr. McKenna's outlined, is in line with some long-term city initiatives as well. I would say it meets the variance criteria that it's a substantial property right enjoyed by others in the neighborhood. and our staff recommends approval.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Lashad. Okay, Mr. McKenna, now is your opportunity to respond to anything you've heard today, or make any other comments before we adjourn.
Yeah, I think I want to just address the parking concern real quick. And I know that it is a concern in a lot of areas. That's one of the reasons why the zoning has, the off-street parking. And I think, as just to respond directly, whether or not, so the question that's at hand is that whether the duplex should be approved. And to address, I guess, the concern that adding the driveway would take away additional parking on the street. I think one of the things that Matt just said was that the driveway is going, at least mostly, in an area that is marked as that it's not for parking at this time. There may be some overlap, and whether or not it would be a duplex or a single family home, there would still be a driveway. So as far as pertaining to this, the issue here of the variance, there'd be a driveway there anyway. And that'd be something that is permitted by in the application zoning. So, but I do want to say that I do understand the concern, but I feel that, what we're in the building process and when it's done, I'll be conscious as far as to make sure that, to try to make sure that there's not additional parking, and what I ultimately want to build, is for myself, actually, and I don't have lots of other people living with me, and the accessory unit would be, like for potentially, a traveling nurse or someone working in the area, who may or may not even have a car. So that's what I'd sort of just like to say about that. But I do appreciate the concern, and will do my best to alleviate that. And I know that probably doesn't, it's not necessarily the answer, but I just want to say that I will take that concern into account when building the project.
Okay. All right. I think that we will leave it at that. I want to again thank everyone for their time, their testimony here today. I'm going to take all the information I have and review the application materials again, and render a decision. When I do that, I'll essentially put it all in writing in a written decision, and I will put that into a PDF, and I'll email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you all will have you'll all receive the decision really just moments after it's complete. Of course, in that decision, I will indicate approval or denial. If anyone disagrees or would like to appeal that, you do have 30 days to appeal that decision. And if that's the case, we can walk you through how that appellate process works. But otherwise, if it is approved, Mr. McKenna, what you'll need is basically just that written decision of approval, and then Mr. Lashide is able to approve the zoning permit on his end for you to proceed. So if you all have questions about the process or the procedure, I'm happy to address those. You can reach out to me directly. Also, if you just like a status update on the decision, I'm happy to provide that to you as well. If you just want to email me or call me, I'm happy to provide you with an update there. I mentioned at the beginning of the hearing that those typically take about 2 weeks. I think that's a realistic expectation. maybe a touch over, just based on the current queue of cases that I have and based on the upcoming holiday. So just look for an email for me within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and reach out to me if you have any questions. Any questions right now that I could answer for anyone? Okay, great.